Hi folks, it's Moz here, and today we're going to be doing a full build of this Ryefield Models Russian Naval 10-ton tractor and Toebar. A quick bit of history: Nigel from Nigel's Scale Modelling Bench gave me this kit to build. I had an interest in it because one of my dear friends called Kim builds flankers, and when I saw the box art with a flanker on it, there's only one thing I could have done. I asked if I could buy this kit. Unfortunately, it's not been released until January, February, and Nigel reviewed this on his channel, and I'll link it either up there or there so you can see his review of this model kit. He got it from Tiger Hobbies to review, and I said they're not due out till January or February of next year. So thank you, Nigel, for your wonderful gift, and I hope I've done it proud by building it. And as he said, because it's not been released yet, I don't think there's anyone in the UK that has built this kit so far, apart from me. Maybe some model magazine may have built it. Anyway, let's jump now and move into the build. And I'm not very good at doing these sort of things. I'm very difficult trying to explain what I'm doing, but hopefully you'll get the gist and watch the video, and then at the end we'll discuss some of the thoughts of this model kit. Thank you. Right, here we go with this build. As you can see, I'm taking some parts off the sprue there. I believe this is like the steering column here, and basically it steers both axles, so you can do like a crab position, and you just attach it there with a little bit of Tamiya extra thin. Then moving on to these axles or transmissions, I guess, and a little bit of cleanup required with a knife, but they glue together quite nicely with some Tamiya extra thin, and then I clamp them together and wait for those parts to dry. I'm basically going to build all the underneath of the body there with all the parts that are required before I start painting. I just felt to get it all together. I'm not going to do anything special with it. I'm just going to paint it all black, maybe add a little bit of highlights to it, but you know, it was just parts together and then waiting for it to set and then attaching it to the vehicle. I think it's what you call, is it a drive transmission or changer? I'm not too sure what it is, but you're basically gluing on some brackets, then you're adding it onto this build up here of metal work and attaching that underneath. You can see that I've already put some of the parts in, a little bit of the engine at the front, there's a flywheel there you can see, or some sort of fan, and yeah, just basically glue it all into position ready. You can see the fit's pretty good on this model. There I'm attaching, I believe it's some sort of shock or track link or tie rod, I think they're called. And they're quite simple, just put them in position with a pair of tweezers, then just force them down into a little pinhole there, and then just a little dab of extra thin to keep them into position while they set. Then on the front, you need to put this linkage in before you attach the front of the bumper there, and a little bit of extra thin keeps it all in position and allow that to set as well. Then I'm moving on to the rear axle and I'm gluing that together. As I said, it's so simple to go together. It's a really nice easy kit, and just clip them in. I always use white tack here just to keep it stable while I do some work to it. And there I'm putting in some U-bolts and some plates. I think they're called spring plates, and it just adds a lot of detail to these leaf springs. There's little pins here, and you're locating pins and holes, and it's quite simple. Just and they all seem to pop in nicely. Just a little bit of extra thin there to help the bind. And yeah, as I said, at this point here, the build was flowing absolutely lovely. Some more of the U-bolts, so a little bit of a clean up on the top there, and they just slot in. There's little slots there no holes as such, but you just basically align them up and then just glue them in position. It's a very well thought out kit, to be honest. As I've gotten through this build, you see some of the nice things that he thought about putting this together. And basically underneath is almost done. Now on the instructions, I think the part numbers are mixed up because this tie rod here was in the wrong, well, basically telling you to put it on the front. Instead you've got to put it on the back, and it's they're quite simple. Put it with Tamiya extra thin on there, and they just squeeze together nicely, as you can see in the video there. They just squeeze as nice together. It's really nice, and they do the same on the front as well. A little bit of extra thin there, and then use the tweezers there to squeeze it together. So far, so good. Now I believe this is part of the engine, and I think that might be a little spring brake there on the side. I'm not too sure about the parts on this tractor. I don't know much about them, apart from they're used to push flankers around on aircraft carrier decks, and maybe on the flats as well, on the runways. This here, I had to change it around a bit. I had to break it off, or use a little bit of Tamiya extra thin to swap it around, because I had it on the wrong way, and I don't know whether that's because of the instructions or whether it was just me. But yeah, I just ended up removing that power train switcher thing and turning it around, and it fitted so that the prop shaft then fitted front to back quite nicely. I believe this is hydraulic oil or some sort of fuel tank to go on the side. You've got two of these, and one either side, and they go together quite nicely. Now I'm putting the drums together, or the brake drums, which the wheels will attach to, and you can see a little bit of you can see the linkages going on for the steering. It was pretty small to see, but I managed to get through it okay. And then a little bit of Tamiya extra thin on the hub there, and then just snap it on, and it goes in flush. Lovely. This is where I got my Outlaw black primer, and I just gave it 2 coats of black primer, and that's all I've done with it. I've not added anything extra to it. I've just sprayed it up with this black primer, and I think it looks really good being black underneath. Obviously you can do what you like with this. When you get your kit, you can spray it yellow, whatever, but I just sprayed it completely black, and that's it. I didn't add anything to that. Now I've just sprayed it like that, and I'm going to leave it that with a little bit of overspray of yellow when I do the top. At this point you need to get the drills out to drill some holes through, which will be for the beacon that goes on the back, and that's it. Then I put in the steering rack on the front there, or the steering rod I think that's called, and then the pedals as well, and I put the P pedals on top of that as well. But as you can see, the detail there looks pretty crisp. Some handles on the sides, these were a bit finicky to get on, but not a lot of cleanup required. Just snap them off the sprue and put them into position. You can see a bit of photo etch in place there as well, which I use some for VMS cement, black cement, to put that in position. Then I was just using this cement to put it together. There you go. There's the photo etch. Quite easy to put in. Very nice. It wasn't difficult. It's just straight in. Then I used some orange yellow from Outlaw Paint. I thought orange yellow will make a good colour, and I sprayed the complete unit with this. Not underneath, I left that black. I just gave it a couple of coats. You'll notice no primer. I went directly on using this air goo airbrush just to try them out, and I was quite impressed with it actually for such a cheap airbrush. It was just given to me by Air Goo, and I thought I'd try it out on this, and I gave it 2 coats, and I basically left it there. It come up really nice. I think it's a good colour for this tractor. leaving that to dry, time for some photo etch. So I always put it on some white tack and cut out the pieces I need. Then I sprayed this up using Tamiya Black from Outlaw Paints, just to give it that black colour, and yeah, it performed lovely. Again, using the airglue brush. So a couple of coats, and then using the VMS super glue, I was able to attach it into position. I scratched it a little bit, unfortunately, but I do patch that up with some more paint. So basically I'm just putting these plates on, nice and easy, all this photo etch. That's all it is really, just tons of photo etch. I tend to bend it first before I spray it to make it easier, so I don't like scratch the paint, but you can see it all goes down really nice and neatly. There you go, all in. Really happy with that. Again, this was just some more plates there. I had to fold it 1, 2, 3, 4 times, spray it up with using the Tamiya Black again from Outlaw, and then just cement it into position. Happy with that. It's a flawless, easy build. It really is. There are some little finicky bits that will kind of make you squint your eyes a little bit, but obviously it's not too difficult. Just jumping in at this moment, just very quickly, just to ask a favour. If you're not a subscriber yet, will you please consider subscribing? It really does help the channel. All you've got to do is click subscribe, and if you click that bell, click all, you'll be notified when I release a brand new video. And it really, as I said, really does help the channel. So please consider being a subscriber. Anyway, back to the build. Then it's time for masking up. I use Signal Red, which is from our Lifeboat range from Outlaw Paints, and it comes with these masks, so I made sure they were down completely, just going over them again. I used the bend of the bonnet to make sure they're in line, and then I just used this Signal Red and sprayed, gave it 2 coats. One coat just to get it to tack, and then a second coat just to finish it off. And I was really happy with the results. It does come out really, really nice. Masking tape off, and you can see as I'm pulling the masking tape, or the mask set has done its job, and I end up pulling off this, and look how good those lines are. I was so happy with this. Oh, this is one of the bit I was worried about doing, but those masking sets are excellent. So you got to do the same on the bumpers as well. On this, you got to use the masking sets to put down these red lines that are on the bumpers. Nice, really, really nice. There you go, that's the masking on the bumpers there. I went a little bit heavy on this. I just want to see how the Outlaw paint would react, but it worked flawlessly again. I'm so happy with this paint, I really am. And this Signal Red really does pop against the orange yellow of this tractor. You can see underneath there where I've left the yellow overspray. I think it looks a bit nicer actually. I was going to give it another coat of black, but I've actually left it looking with this yellow overspray, so it's got like a ruggedness to it. I don't know what it's like on the real tractors, but I've just been a bit lazy. Anyway, the seat's now gone in, the handbrake's gone in, and we've got the gear sticks are going as well. But I want to talk about that later on in the video. I think they could have done with some improvement with that gear stick. Right, the wheels, I've already sprayed them, and to be honest with you, that's all I did. I sprayed them, and because the vinyl wheels covered where the sprue gates were, I didn't even go over them again and spray them. I just left them as they are, because you can't see them once those tyres are on. And basically a bit of Tamiya extra thin on the pins and on the back of the drums there, and the wheels stuck down great. So after a quick spray of varnish, I then started putting on these decals. There's not many to do. You've got the numbers to put on, you've got the anchor points to put on as well, which are just decals. Oh, I forgot, there were decals for the dashboard, but I'd done them separately. I didn't use the photo etch, I didn't think they needed it, but when you see a close-up later, you'll see how well the decals went down. for the dashboard. But yeah, just added all these little very tiny decals here, but they went down fine. I was really happy with how they looked. Then on to the beacon, which I sprayed Tamiya LP. No, I didn't. I brush painted Tamiya X orange. Same with the red and the orange for the indicators and the brake lights. And I just used a chrome pen to do the lights on the front. Now it's time to do the tow bar, and to be honest with you, it's very simple to actually build the tow bar up, but it's all the added bits where the jockey wheels have got to go, etc. So a little bit of cleanup required obviously on this kit. And then there's a mistake on the instructions here, which I will show you on the manual. There's a little nub locating strip where you've got to put these parts, and it's the wrong end. You can see it's at the left, not the right, but it doesn't matter. Just attach it as normal, facing towards the end of the tow bar, and it just sticks together with a bit of Tamiya extra thin. And then you put the lid on there on top as well. I'm not too sure what it is. I don't know much about Naval tractors. Then you fit the part on the end, which is what I attach a magnet to, I believe. No, I don't. I put this trolley that goes on the front for the wheels, basically, on the flankers. So snap it off the sprue there, and then you arrange and make this A-frame, which is a little bit complex, but you'll see it at the end how it all goes together. Getting it lined up was a little bit tricky, so some tweezers required just to get it together. So cement one end first, and then when that's dry, or semi-dry I should say, attach the other end as well. You can see it's a little bit finicky, but you'll get there in the end, I can assure you. It does line up. Could have done with like a little pin or something. And then that goes on the other side, a little bit of Tamiya extra thin in there, and just wait for that to dry. The instructions are a little bit confusing here, but hopefully once you see me put it together here, you'll see how it goes. It's 2 drops of Tamiya extra thin in there, and leave it to dry, and there's the jockey or the trolley bit of the tow bar together. Now this is the section for joining the 2 parts together. Again, a little bit of Tamiya extra thin, push them together, let it dry, and then you start producing like this box with some sort of alignment rod. Push that together, attach it to those locating pins at the side, and then a couple of drops of Tamiya extra thin go in there as well, and that bit is done. So I let that set, and then I start on the rails. I believe there's a rail to go along the edge, and these are quite nice. They're like they don't snap together, but the way they're molded, they kind of just sit on top of each other. So a little bit of Tamiya extra thin on one side. Now mine came a little bit twisted. I don't know it's supposed to look like that, but you can see there's a little bit of a bend at the front and at the end. And so I left it like that because I assume that's what they look like. They may have been bashed. That little handle's a bit of a pig to get on, but once he's on there, just let it all set, and it won't move again. Now putting these, I think they're braces on the front, and or again small rails or handles. They're a little bit finicky to get on there, but as soon as you've got the old Tamiya extra thin, put them in position, just leave them alone to set in position, and they won't move again. The one's bigger than the other, you can see that goes on, I believe it's on the bottom, so I presume it's some sort of protection for that rod at the end. Then I used these engineering blocks to make sure that they glue together straight. I can't recommend these enough. I always thank my friend Neil or Celtic West, who often comments on my videos and is in the live streams of FX and Chill. He told me about these blocks. I saw them in use and I bought them myself, and you can see there that, you know, once you glue them in position, it keeps it all straight and plumb. Brilliant to have as a part of your workbench. Now these are the jockey wheels now, which were a little bit fiddly to clean up and put together. I used a bit of Tamiya extra thin again just to glue them together and leave them to dry, and then there's some more rods there to part the jockey wheels, and then you have these bits of photo etch which are hinges which you have to bend, and then I didn't glue them, by the way, I just bent them over and left them in situ. Again, you can see me there bending them on the PE tool, and there it is, that's all together. I didn't film this bit because I had to get it right up to my face, but you can see that I got them pretty plumb in the end. It took a little bit of work getting it together, but I let them dry and they look great. Then time to spray up using the Signal Red again, using that Air Goo airbrush, and I gave it a couple of coats and left it to dry, because the only thing now to do is to put the actual wheels on those stands that are on this tow bar. These are 3D parts that were in their chocks, and again, just give them a good coat of the Signal Red and leave them to dry. And it was a nice little touch, actually, as I say, 3D printed, so nothing much more to do with them. Put the jockey wheels on and fasten them. I had to prise them apart very carefully with the tweezers there, but once they're in position, that's great. The little bit of Tamiya extra thin, just the tiniest drop, just to cement them in position so they're on their axles, and basically that is the build completely done. Really happy, really happy, and here comes the end result. Well, there you are, ladies and gentlemen. This is a finished build. A Russian Naval 10-ton tractor and Toebar. I've put some very tiny magnets on the end here because this should be one piece, but there's no way I was going to be able to transport this to model shows to put with a flanker like this. So I've just added some little magnets, one in the very end, one on the end of that, and they just bang together. So there's no issues there, and it joins it together. Whoops, absolutely lovely. It's a cracking build. There's a few issues. I think the gear stick, instead of just having like a hole with a pin, you know, with the stick, why don't they add a gaiter, make it fatter, and then use that as leverage to stick the gear stick into the plate or the footwell, because it keeps falling off. I only touched it once and it snapped off, and then tried to glue it back on and re-drill it. It was just a nightmare. If they just created a gaiter to make it a fatter end, it will be a lot easier. Some bits are wrong on the instructions, which I've pointed out, and you will feel your way through it. It's not a difficult build, it's an actual lovely build. Ryefield Models has done a really good job with this tractor. It's been one of my favourite builds of the year because it has a special meaning. I've got a friend who builds flankers, and this will go perfect on our model display when I show models off at model shows, and this will go alongside one of his 148 tractors. But yeah, it's been a cracking build. I've left the underside that's some of the 3D printed chocks. So I left the underside showing a bits of the yellow. I just think it highlights it a little bit. Nobody will really see that anyways, but then again, you know, it's my model and I built it as I wish. Decals went down fine. The masking is perfect with this kit. I can't rate it enough. If you see them for sale, Tiger Hobbies, are going to get them for sale in January, and I've noticed that on an email recently, Jadlam have these for pre-order as well on their website. I'll leave links in the description box below where you can purchase this kit. There you go, folks. That was my build of this Ryefield Model 148 Russian Naval 10-ton tractor and Toebar. There was some challenging bits to this build, but nothing that I don't think anyone can not get over. The jockey wheels, trying to get them plumb can be a bit difficult, but once they're in position, that's it. Just leave them alone, let them dry, and they do kind of ring true, if you know what I mean. I'm pleased with it, I really am. The Outlaw paints was brilliant. I used a very cheap airbrush on it, this air goo one, fully for this build, just to try it out, something a little bit different. And yeah, it worked really good. A little bit of a spitting, but that's something that, you know, that's probably me, not the airbrush. But yeah, it was a really good fun build, and I think that's it from me. I've got nothing more to add apart from no hate on this video, please. I know it's Russian and we live in a time of war which involves this, but it's nothing. It is what it is. It's a Chinese firm that's made it, and I think there's other countries that will use this 10-ton tractor, not necessarily Russian, okay? But I understand the feelings that people have over this, but I assure you, you know, I've not helped the war. I feel that it's no different to building something German, you know, or something from another war. And we build war anyway. Every model that we build is a killing machine at some point. But yeah, take it for what it is, please. And as I said, no hate on the video. That would be brilliant. I've done Russian subjects before, and I've had to remove lots and lots of very wicked comments. But yeah, just embrace it as a lovely little model to build. That's okay. And that's it from me. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, click like. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe, ring that bell, click all to be notified when I release a new video. Any questions, any comments, leave in the box below, because I do reply. One huge shout out to my channel members who help me financially with this channel. If you'd like to become a channel member, just click join below and select which membership tier you so wish. We have a live stream every Thursday that you could be part of, just for the members of this channel. In the four corners is another video from my channel that you can watch, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a fantastic rest of your week.